So.
Okay, right, I guess here we go. So, if you are listening to this, I banged the table really hard, that probably fucks up the mic. If you are listening to this, welcome to our podcast. We've just started it today, obviously, because this is our first take. It's called Zhengzhou Unchained, and you're probably reading it thinking it looks like it should say Zhengzhou or Zhengzhou Unchained, but it's pronounced Zhengzhou actually. So learn the lingo. So yeah, we started a podcast. There's four of us. There's myself, Ed. Next to me is Amy. Say hello.
Hello.
Opposite Amy is Beth. Say hello.
Hello.
And next to her is Tom. Say hello.
Hello there.
Hello. And we are all together having a time in China right now. We are having a time.
Yeah.
Maybe more on that in a different podcast. But for this podcast, we're just going to talk about, we're just going to talk a little bit about ourselves, what we do, what we did, and why we're here in China right now. And it's going to be...
And how we got here.
Yeah. It was a long walk. And yeah, we're not going to have it go on for too long because we want to save the juicy ones to go on for longer. But
there's so much juice.
Yes, a lot of juice, a lot of oranges. So yeah, shall we just start off with introductions?
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say what we did at university, for example. So Tom, you can start since you're the latest. You're the last. You're the eldest, the one who graduated
first
yes, out of all of us. So you can start.
Okay, thank you, Ed. I'm Tom.
Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Hull.
Where'd you graduate from?
I studied in Hull.
Wow.
And
Three more strikes.
And I graduated in sports rehabilitation, physiotherapy basically, but for idiots. First class degree in that.
Yes,
and then that's me.
Yeah,
the only one here, the only one present.
Wow.
Sting.
Ouch. But we all did good, just not as good as...
Mine was the easiest course, so be expected.
Yeah. But so what did you... Why did you choose... no, we're not getting into that. No. So
it's not an interview.
No. Okay. Amy. What did you do at your university?
I did French and film studies at Hull University also. Graduated with a 2-1.
Nice.
Fluent in French.
Do you want to know what my modules were?
Beth.
I did English literature at Chester University, the only non-Hull alumni here. And don't I bloody know it.
Yes, we have been talking a lot about Hull in our time here in China so far.
How much we miss it.
Yeah, how much we miss Hull, There was all that Hull Fair talk and...
Hull Fair set it off really.
Yeah,
we have a Hull ban.
We have a Hull ban.
Five a day.
5 a day, that's the limit.
And we've definitely broken that already.
Well, Tom usually gets the first 4 maybe.
Yeah.
I'll put a little chip in there as well. But yeah, so I studied drama and film at Hull as well. I got a 2-1, so I was happy with that. Anything less, I would have been gutted. And my dad would have kicked me out of the house, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got a 2-1 as well, just for the record. I didn't deliberately miss it out because I did badly.
No, so we all did 2-1 or
Apart
better.
from Tom,
Apart
who
from
had
Tom.
the easy course.
Allegedly. He knew what he was doing. So, yeah, so we all got 2-1s and firsts. 3 of us went to Hull, 1 of us went to Chester. That was good times. So let's talk about how we all know each other as well. So
I guess...
Who should start there?
I guess you're the hub, aren't you?
Actually, you and Beth have known each other for the longest, so
We
you
have.
start
Do
there.
So we went to a grammar school. We're both from Lincolnshire. Which is about as broad as we should go, I think, because if we get any more narrow, no one's going to...
Yeah.
If you know what Lincolnshire is anyway, then well done.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we went to school together. Ed came in...
Year 9.
Yeah.
Year 9, I came in.
And I was like, who's this dickhead?
Yeah. I said the exact same thing.
Daunting coming in late to high school.
Well, yeah, I came from another school in Louth, Monksdyke, which was it was a technology college. Like, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't awful, but I was in, not to be braggadocious or anything, but I was in set 1 for everything, and then when it came
we really need to go?
But this was in Monksdyke, so I was in set 1 for everything, and then in GCSEs for Kevigs, I was in set 5, set 6 for nearly everything.
How do you assume?
So
because you
in
the
because
last set?
I don't know, because I was stupid.
Weird.
So yeah, Anyway, back to how me and Beth knew each other. So I can't really remember when we became like
I think
friends, but like it was just
we just
like,
had mutual friends.
we had mutual
I think,
friends.
and then I remember it was in 6th form. So when we were like 17, 18, that we started to like, we were at parties together.
My
and stuff,
17th.
and
That's
yeah.
That was a crazy night. So me and Beth knew each other from school, and then
I guess.
then me and Amy met
First year of uni.
first year of university.
Because obviously we both do film studies.
Yes.
Yeah, we took all the same modules and.
Yeah,
we
were
clicked,
alright
didn't
laugh. We did, yeah.
Yeah, we clicked straight away, it has to be said. However, I was not nervous at university, but I was like trying to keep my circle of friends close, so I never really opened up to anyone in film. Cause
the end of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I'd say it's of the calendar year.
Yeah, sorry,
it was
academic year.
Yeah, it was more like by the end of first year we were great friends.
Yeah.
Why didn't you open up your circle of friends wider?
I don't know. It was just the first guy in film class who spoke to me was like the biggest nerd I know, and I was like, everyone is like this, so I'm just gonna. Not that he was a lovely guy, but
yeah. He was intense. Let's leave it at that.
He loves
Was
Marvel.
he the one? Marvel.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But he's a lovely guy. But I was happy I did. Now I've got a great friend in Amy. So now Amy and Tom are the next people to meet. So why don't you two talk?
Met
through a certain dating.
We did. We met on Tinder, but it was like a few months after.
I thought it was Grindr.
It was actually in June of the academic year.
Yeah.
And then I went to France for 3 months, 3 or 4 months maybe. Like, came back in October. So we just talked all summer, and then when I came back, we started dating, and unfortunately still are.
Yeah.
You spoke without even meeting each other for 4 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like Gavin and Stacey.
Literally. I left you were like, oh, you asked me out on a date on the 8th of June or something, because I remember my flight was on the 10th of June, and I was at my dad's the other side of England at the time, and I was like, I'm going to France for 3 months, but we were actually both going to Leeds Fest in August, but circumstances changed and I couldn't go anymore, but
we didn't know another month, really, didn't it?
Yeah, we didn't know it was going to be 4 months, really, but yeah. Anyway,
stuck it out. Probably shouldn't have. I'm kidding.
No, you're still here with her in China.
In China. She's dragged me to China.
All the way.
I have quite literally dragged you.
Yeah.
So was it your idea? Was it a case of you convincing Tom, or?
Oh yeah, massively. Well, it was because Olivia approached me. So my sister did Chinese at school and also at university as a degree. I don't know how she got in contact with Roki. He was the guy that...
Well,
on a train.
I know, yeah. She told me.
Yeah.
So the whole reason that we're all here right now basically stems from one small
conversation
incident in which Olivia, Amy's sister, was on a train and she was mid-Chinese degree, and so she obviously spoke quite a bit of Mandarin by this time, and Roki, who is one of our employers' son, bumped into her on the train. He said, I don't know, I'm sorry or whatever, and she said, oh, don't worry about it, in Mandarin, which caught his attention, and then they started talking, and he basically recruited her from that very small incident, which is just crazy.
She actually sent me a load of like voice messages saying, I just want you to do a bit of research for me. I want to set up a stall at your university to recruit English people who are doing a Chinese degree. And the more she talked to me about it, the more interested I became. And then I remember we were sat in the library, me and Ed, and I kept saying to him, I was like, just think about it. Just what if we did go? What if we did go?
Yeah, no.
And you were like looking up flights and stuff like that. And you said, if I go, you were saying the sentence, if I go, before every sentence about China for months.
It was months. It was months. But yeah, so that small butterfly effects. It was like set off a huge chain of reactions that's basically led to this moment right here, right now. So so let's talk about how we ended up here, because so Beth and Amy, you've touched on how Olivia got to know, and basically she's not our employer, but she was
supposed to be.
She was
superior, wasn't she?
She's technically a superior, but like
she's our link to here because she speaks fluent Mandarin.
Exactly.
Just because she bumped into Roki.
I know. and she was in the Skype interviews as well. So
she was just there to translate and things that.
And I'm trying to think now when you first told me about it and what my reaction was, because I cannot remember. I can't remember if I looked at you as in like, oh, this sounds quite interesting, or if I just laughed in your face because it was a preposterous idea at the time.
I remember we were in the library and we were like sat opposite each other doing dissertation work or whatever work it was. Maybe it was in April.
No, it would have been earlier than April.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, it was February.
No. It was. Yeah, it would have been February. Maybe even
January
February,
actually, because that's
March.
when Olivia came to Hull to see Harry, and she also. Anyway, I said that to you, and you kind of looked at me and were like,
I was
really?
I was definitely.
And then you looked at flights that day.
I looked at flights because I'm easily intrigued and stuff like that, and going to the other side of the world, literally, and experiencing a country that I never thought I would ever visit was incredibly fascinating to me. So, it was intriguing to think about it. But and
then I messaged like a load of people, and I was like, "Let's go, let's do it," because we were graduating that summer. I had no interest in
masters,
getting a job or getting a master's or whatever, and I just thought this has come at the perfect time. And
sorry, we have
noisy neighbours.
Upstairs neighbours that have been doing work in their flat. So I don't know what they're doing, renovations, whatever, but for the entire time we've been here, since late August, we've just heard periodic. So if you hear any of that, I'm sorry, we can't control it. Carry on, Amy.
At the strangest times as well.
We've tried telling them, but they just don't understand English. So.
Yeah, of course.
What was I going to say?
But I brushed off the whole Chinese thing instantly, really.
Because,
I'm interested
the way
in
Olivia
how you
approached
first
it to me was, it was like a decent wage. You get your flights refunded, you get your visa refunded, you get your bills paid for, your apartment paid for, you get everything. And you just have to, pay for food and things like that, which seemed ideal.
That's,
and when I first approached Tom with it, he was like, absolutely no way, I could never be a teacher.
Of course he would, because he lived in Hull, went to school in Hull, went to university in Hull, was probably going to try and get a job in Hull. So why on earth would he think about going to China?
Look at me now. The only reason I'm probably here is because I didn't get those jobs that I applied for.
True.
Yeah.
Crashed and burned.
So
here I am.
The Tesco higher ups wouldn't let you in.
Yeah.
Well, other supermarket chains are available.
Yeah.
That's true.
Just to clarify, we've probably not said what the job, like what we do.
That's a good point. Yeah. So we are teachers. We all teach at kindergarten. So me and Beth teach at a kindergarten called Haiwen, and
Zhengzhou's finest.
Yeah, Zhengzhou's finest. And Tom and Amy teach at a kindergarten as well called Gracefield. We were originally going to be put in.
That's a funny story.
That is a funny story. I think we should get onto that later down the line, because I want to move in chronological order.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Tom, you laughed in Amy's face when you heard about China.
Literally.
How did you find out about China? I know obviously it was from me, but I can't remember what the situation was.
So I just looked this up, and I can't believe I think it was April, this whole thing. And I was just frantically messaging everyone one morning because Arctic Monkeys had just revealed their UK tour dates, and I was like, oh my god, I've been meaning to see Arctic Monkeys. I've been into them since about 2011. Sorry. And I've just never been able to see them, either through nobody else being as into them as I was, or money problems, or time, and just everything has stood in my way. I've never been able to see them, and I thought, you know what, I have to see them this year. I don't care, hell or high water, I'm going. So I was messaging almost everyone in my contacts saying who's going to see Arctic Monkeys with me during their tour. Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino hadn't come out yet, which changed everything.
For the
Great
better.
album.
And everyone on my contacts was turning me down, saying no, I'm busy or I'm broke or blah blah blah. And then Ed said, oh, I'm probably teaching English in China in September, so I can't go. And I was like, I kind of just brushed it off. I was like, oh right, okay, whatever. And then later I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, how the hell has he managed that? Like, and I wanted to just know everything, and then I thought I just couldn't get it out of my head for like a week. I was like, that sounds so amazing, I'm really up for that. And so I just basically got him to tell me all the details, and he hooked me up with Olivia, and that was it. And thankfully I did go, and I didn't prioritise the tickets because that album was trash. And I've heard very mixed, Tom is shaking his head, and I've heard very mixed reports about Alex Turner's stage presence and his tendencies on stage. So I think I've dodged a bullet there, really.
Fair enough.
Great frontman, great band,
great front
great
man,
album.
We did go and see, we'll just add this little snippet in, we did go and see Arctic Monkeys this summer, but he did kind of brush over all the good ones and drag out all the
Well, you have to
Hotel
promote the new
Casino
album,
ones.
don't you? But I was gripped by the performance.
That's just because you're the biggest hipster.
He wears black jeans, rolled up, white socks, and
He's got a big beard.
he's got a big beard and glasses, obviously.
Of course.
So yeah,
That's because I do require glasses. Obviously.
now you don't.
You need
I've-
that.
It's not ironic.
Plastic.
It's not ironic.
I've worn your glasses, I can see perfectly fine. Okay, coming back to China. So now we've all found out how we
found out
about China.
Yeah.
So now the next step was the interview. The interview.
Are we really going to talk about the interview?
Oh, it went terrible.
Mine went awful.
Yeah.
Mine went
That's-
okay.
It really
Real
shows
good. That was real good.
that Weird Al, our company that employs us, would have taken anybody. Anybody.
Speak for yourself.
It was. Oh no, genuinely.
Tom's was truly terrible because I was
Terrible.
listening through the door and she was like, oh, so you have no teacher experience. Okay.
And then she asked me like, "What do you know about Zhengzhou, the city that we're in?" And I had read up about it, but I just couldn't think of anything. So I just said, "No."
See,
What do you know? No.
I don't know much about it really.
And she went, oh.
Yeah.
And she started laughing at you, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, so Crystal, who's one of our employers, she has a soft spot for me. Let's say she really like. So she can't say D's clearly, so she calls
None
me
of them
Our.
can say D.
So yeah, in my interview, it went really. Look, for me, I'm quite confident, and I'm quite. I like flamboyant when it comes into these interviews. Sure, flamboyant. That's a good word. So yeah, when she was asking me stuff like, "Oh, do you have much teacher experience?" I was like, you know, I have 2 weeks from year 10 when we did, what was it? Work experience. I went to my primary school and did that, you know, didn't teach at all, obviously. But
I should have mentioned that.
You should have.
Exactly. I did that.
So I mentioned that. I was like, other than that, not much, but you know, I'm really eager to learn more about teaching and how good I want to maybe do this as a career. That was a lie, by the way. That was a straight up fucking lie. I wanted the job.
I said exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
Oh, I can't wait to be a teacher.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. And then so she asked me, like, do you know much about Zhengzhou in China? I was like, well, I don't know a lot, but I know that Chinese people tend to call Zhengzhou Apple because that's where a lot of the Apple products are made, and it's because there's loads of factories here, and one of them is the Apple factory. And then she laughed, and instantly that's when she liked me, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Did you know I said exactly the same thing?
And she didn't laugh.
I should have mentioned.
No, I think she laughed at mine as well. Did you have yours before me, or after? I think you had it before me.
I was before you. I was the first one.
Yeah, you was. Yeah.
But
you also create a lot of black vinegar here. I should have mentioned that. She would have loved that.
Well, like,
you can't make a joke about that.
They would have given you a raise. So yeah, my interview went really well. What was wrong with yours, Beth?
Nothing. I think I just remember it must have gone well because I heard back the same day. I had it right in the morning. I think I had it at like 8 a.m. and at like 5 p.m. they were like, yeah, you've got the job. But I spent the whole day in a sulk because I was like, that was awful.
Yeah.
I think I just remember making jokes and they didn't laugh. So I was just like, because I remember you saying, oh, Crystal, she found me really funny, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, great,
Clearly,
I'm going to
crack 'em.
Yeah, but no, I just felt very grilled and I didn't think I coped well. So, yeah, but...
How did yours go, Amy, last year?
Yours
went well because you listened to mine. Got
mine
advice,
went
didn't
well.
You?
I'm pretty confident as like Ed, and I'm very good at bullshitting my way through things.
Yeah,
but you've also got language teaching experience.
And obviously, I have, because I did French at university. Like I did a few teaching modules, one of which was like 2 years long. So she lapped it all up basically. But I did feel like she grilled me quite a bit. Didn't laugh as much as I was hoping, but I found out like the day after, pretty much straight away.
I found her quite intimidating, really.
Yeah.
Now I've met her, she's lovely, but at the time I thought it might have been the language barrier, which it might have been. It was just very tense. There was a lot of gaps.
The connection was terrible on mine.
In between speaking, so there was a lot of awkward silences, and I'm not a fan of awkward silences, so I was trying to fill that gap.
We should probably mention that it was over Skype, like it wasn't.
Yes, it was over Skype.
Face to face.
Imagine that.
Face to face.
That would have been shocking. Yeah, I don't think even I would have got the job over that. She would have seen right through my lies.
Yeah.
But so you're past the interview stage. The next bit.
Pretty quick, didn't we? That we got the job.
Yeah. The next bit. Was it the contract? Was that the next? What was the next bit?
No, the next bit was.
Well, the whole process.
All the
list
paperwork.
of everything we had to do and get done.
The list.
Painful.
So the list was very long and arduous. Yeah, you try and find the list. So basically, going to China, as you can expect, is no easy task. China is kind of a locked country in terms of not letting people in, but like.
Yeah, letting people out.
Well,
out.
And out, clearly. But yeah, it's hard to get into. You need to go through the whole visa stage. But that was really bad, the visa stage. I didn't enjoy that one bit. But all the documents we needed to get for this was...
It was
such
ridiculous.
Such a pain.
Yeah.
So we needed our degree.
Wait, I've got it up here.
Oh, okay, you read it out then, Amy.
Okay, so first stage was the interview, and then it was preparing documents for applying for the Z visa,
which is a work visa,
which was the health check, which was initially going to cost us maybe 350 quid because we had to do a chest x-ray, but we challenged them and said like we can't afford this, so they took that out, and then it only cost us about £100.
Well,
Well, for
all
some
of those.
people.
mine
this
cost
is-
me £350 because the only available, I rang around everywhere and the only available place near me was charging that much because
Was it
they
private?
could. And it was private, so I tried to fight it, but that's what I ended up having to do. I think being an expat is no path for anyone that doesn't have available income or whatever, and it was a bit of a shame really, because like if someone had money problems or wasn't as well off, like they couldn't do this, and it was just another closed
That's
opportunity.
one of the reasons why Lizzie,
Yeah.
who was like initially, she went through the interview process, really good friend of mine, but she was doing Camp America over the summer, but she would have just made it, but she initially needed maybe $1,000 to sort everything out, so she basically couldn't go through with it. It was just such a shame because now she's back from Camp America
Well,
and she's like,
it's just a pain because they reimburse you, but over the period of a year of our work contract, so we get £50 a month and it builds up over the year, but you have to pay up front 800, even more, to get here initially, which is difficult. Obviously you're adding in transport costs because we had to go back and forth to embassies.
well, that's so after you prepare your Z visa, like dossier as it were, you've got the health check, and you also have your degree transcript
And your DBS, which have to be
and your
approved by a
DBS.
lawyer.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, that's not. Yeah. What else was there? Health check,
Gosh,
degree
there's
transcript.
so much.
Notary.
Notaries, getting
Well, the
your,
next step after
getting your
that,
passport verified.
once you sent everything
stuff
through,
like
it
that.
went through their administration of foreign expert affairs, although that was probably just Roki looking through the things, and then it came back and we had to go to the Chinese embassy
Which is only
in the
3 in
UK.
the country.
and obtain a work visa. However,
Where are they? Where are the
Edinburgh, Manchester, London.
Congrats. Well done.
so obviously Manchester was like
The closest.
we all went to Manchester, but and then the next step was, after the Chinese embassy, was we just obtained the Z visa. However, the Chinese government changed its mind halfway through the year, which meant we could only get a tourist visa. Then we had to come to China on the tourist visa. Then we had to go to Hong Kong, stay in Hong Kong whilst we applied for the Z visa.
We'll talk about this in more detail
Yeah.
at a later date.
Yeah, we will.
And then obviously we had to get the residency permit, which was a hassle.
Yeah.
And still, they could chill us out at any point. Like,
Yeah.
we've gone through so many stages, we've done so much paperwork,
Yeah.
and Olivia knows people that has
Yeah.
done identical to us, and the government's just kind of kicked
Rejected
them out, rejected them. The fact that we're still here is fluky, really, which is crazy. It's just...
Yeah, well, Sean, one of name dropping.
He's not going to watch this.
Well, you never know.
Sean,
Watch
if you are
what? He's
listening,
gonna
subscribe
listen to our
for one.
But
Two, Tom really does like you, okay? So
Yeah.
you're a great guy. He told us that one of
He
his
had
friends...
his fingers crossed, Tom. Sean.
He had a friend who had the same situation as us, and China just basically kicked him out. They gave him a few week period to leave the country after he had taught for the year, which is strange. It's strange.
Oh, that was after a year?
Oh, well, of course. I just remember him saying that they gave him a set period of time to leave, just out of the blue, no reason.
Well,
So-
I'm
China,
scared of that happening.
all these strange things as well. It's
It'd be a
just
relief
China-
if we got sent home.
Well,
Again, we'll
Relief.
talk about this at a later
it's
date.
a later date. Wink, wink. Okay. So where did we get to? So the visa process. Beth, I don't want to throw you under the bus here, but you almost fucked it up with the whole visa thing when you asked for it to be sent back to your home and not collect it within 3 days.
Well, no, I didn't fuck it up. I asked for that, and then that went through.
There was the
and
language barrier problem. I'll give you that.
The woman at the embassy wouldn't go back on it. And I think in a normal situation where you make a mistake and you say, oh, can I have a refund or can I redo this again? But for some reason, I said it once, I paid, and I said, oh wait, can I don't actually remember what.
So you said, can I get it? And it would have made sense if this was possible. You said, can I have it sent back to my address back in Lincolnshire?
Yeah, so get all the approved documents signed and then sent straight from the embassy. Instead of having to come back 3 days later to pick it up, get it sent straight to your home address.
Exactly.
Just clarifying.
Exactly. And you asked how long it would take, and you asked how long it would take.
No, I didn't ask how long until after I paid.
Until after you paid.
And that's
and then she said 2. Then
wasn't
she said
like
2 weeks.
£175 or something.
She said 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is how long it was.
When we had 3 days, we had 3 days to leave, and I'd picked an option that would take 2 weeks, and I paid, and then I asked, and she said 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, sorry, can I do the other method? I've made a mistake, or rather, she didn't tell me, but that's besides the by. And she was like, no, you've paid. I was like, yeah, but I did the wrong one. Can I just get a refund, or can I just, no, you've paid. It was, honestly, for about 5 minutes, I was just sat there sweating in the Manchester Chinese embassy going, can I please just get my visa? No, you've paid. And it wasn't until you stepped in and sat down, and it was really funny.
I was just not barking orders at her, but I was just like, look, there's been a simple mistake. She's said, you did say as well about 2 or 3 times that you didn't care about the refund.
The difference would have been about 30-40 quid, so I was like, screw that, I'll take the cut. I just want my visa in the right time. And I think it was a money thing, because then in the end she said, right, okay, I'll change it for you.
So I was just like, look,
did you get
the visa
refund?
hasn't gone, like the passport hasn't gone through. It's literally there in a packet waiting to go.
It was sat on her desk.
Yeah, exactly. Just change it from being shipped back to her address.
Because your flight was in 3 days.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, we're leaving on Thursday. Just change it.
And it was like the Monday.
It's okay. Yeah, it was.
Wow. Was she Chinese?
She was Chinese.
And the Chinese embassy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shockingly.
And there was only one person in the whole embassy. There was like, 6 tills, 8 tills.
8, yeah.
And there was just this one woman, this very softly spoken, innocuous looking woman, who just had her foot down and wouldn't help me out. And it's like, wow, it's almost like you don't want foreigners in your country. That's pretty...
Had a bad day.
Yeah. But yeah, I almost had a breakdown right there.
But we got through it. And it was actually on. I think that was on. We went on the Friday. That was on the Friday.
Was it?
On a Friday that took place.
Yeah,
the
you
Friday
had the
before,
appointment on the Friday. Picked it up on like the Wednesday.
On the Wednesday. Picked it up on the Wednesday. So they don't want to hear, the audience don't want to hear about all the paperwork, because that I had no idea myself, really.
If you do want to hear about paperwork and are planning to come to China, maybe send an email.
Yeah, well, actually,
and we'll clarify.
Maybe we should open an email, or at us on Twitter. We'll leave the socials in the description of this video. It'll be at Zhengzhou Unchained.
If you ask me about the details of how we got to China through paperwork, I probably won't reply. I'm not going to put myself through that torture again.
No. They don't have to at you. They don't have to at you.
Thank God.
Don't at
Tom
all
Pitts
of us
10.
via.
Yeah. We'll leave all of our socials in the description. Nike Parking 97.
Which needs to change, to be honest.
Yes.
Can you change your @s on Twitter?
Of course you can.
Of course, yeah.
The @s?
Yeah, of course you can. Did you not know
Mine's
that?
been amyfogfull and so confusing and difficult for people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that now.
Alright. We'll let you know.
my
Breaking
new
news: Amy Fogfalangi is changing her on Twitter.
That is not her surname. She's not
No.
Italian.
No.
Again, for another podcast, that story possibly.
Yeah.
Any diehard Friends fans will know.
Anyway. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
Phalange.
Yeah, Phalange.
Yes.
It's not spelled.
Yeah, it's spelled the same, isn't it?
I had
Someone
that Twitter
stole it.
before I saw Regina Phalange
Right.
written down.
Someone stole it.
Phalange
I now understand.
is, of
I do.
course, the finger bones. not spelt like the phalange that you spelt it. But again,
anyway,
friends physiology talk.
In a different
I
podcast,
didn't know that they're real. A phalange is a real thing.
Yeah, phalange.
I thought she just made it up. I thought that was just a made up.
Yeah, I thought it was a made up
So is this
word.
your phalange?
Yeah, phalange.
By the way, I'm flicking the end of my middle finger for all those listening.
Oh, it's not quite as funny when you have to explain it.
Well, no, but they can't see, can they? Anyway, so we've all got our passports back. We've all got our visas. So we were originally planning on flying out together. We were going to be flying on the 20th.
Yeah,
the 20th of August. We were all going to be flying on the 20th of August, which would have been great. It would have been a cool 24-hour trip, basically.
Yeah, it would have been a nice trip.
All together, all four of us,
trip.
it would have been lovely. However, because of certain circumstances, me and Beth had to delay our flight, luckily only by 3 days. So Tom and Amy, you were the, as you put it in our messages, you were the guinea pigs of the test of the flight.
Yeah.
So our flight was from Manchester. It was a 7.5-hour trip to Dubai, change in Dubai, get on another long trip. But first we went to Yinchuan, Yinchuan Airport, and then which is basically where we all got fingerprinted and stuff like that, and then
I experienced my first hock at that airport.
We'll talk about that hock soon. And we and then
But you thought, oh, that's a bit weird. That never happens again.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And then from Yinchuan is like northwest China. It's not too far from here by plane anyway. And then and then an hour flight from Yinchuan to Zhengzhou.
It was like 2 hours.
So let's talk about the flight, because I want to talk about the flight. Let's go around in a circle. Amy, how was your experience of the flight? Out of talk about what you did on the flight, and then at the end of it, rate it out of 10.
Okay, so we all had basically the same flight, but me and Tom went on the Monday, which originally you guys were supposed to be on that flight.
I literally said that 2 minutes ago. You can skip that bit.
I was changing mine out on Twitter. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. It is Amy_Winball, by the way.
That is her surname.
Promo.
The first flight was great to Dubai. We were on an Airbus, and it was very cool.
The A380, the double decker.
Yes, it was very, very cool. I think I watched 4 films. I think Lady Bird was one of them. I can't really remember, but it was great. It was good. The food was good. It was just very cool to be in such a bulky plane, and it had like really cool cameras, so you could see what was going on. Dubai airport was pretty cool as well, although we were very tired. But that was very enjoyable. And then it just was downhill from there, really. When we arrived in wherever we arrived,
Yinchuan.
It was annoying because online when you booked the flight, it was like it's 2 hours. It was 2 flights, sorry, but actually it was 3 flights.
Just stopped.
We just stopped, yeah. And the airport was we were sat around not really understanding what was going on. Nobody really spoke English.
If you have to take 3 flights to go anywhere, don't go.
Those last 2 flights, because they were really small planes.
Yeah, they were just. It was just, and then you were on a plane with Chinese people, and this is not meaning any offence, but sick bags are used for sick, not for spitting and snotting in. So that's what we had to deal with, yeah. And then we arrived in Zhengzhou, and that was much better, although it was 1,000,000 degrees. But
so what was the rating out of 10?
First flight a solid 9, solid 9. But then the second one, I'm gonna go with a 4.
So overall, that's like a 6.5.
I'm gonna give it a 7 because the Airbus was great. And it was the longer
And you have
flight.
To round up.
Oh, was it longer? No, it wasn't longer actually.
It was around the same. It wasn't.
It was like.
It was about 7. It was 7.5 to Dubai. 7.5 to Dubai, and then it was around
8.
6. No, I think it was about 6 to Yinchuan.
Yeah, it was just that we had a 3-hour layoff in Dubai, which was horrible because obviously it was 1 a.m. by that time. So
Amy, Tom, you were on the same flight. How was your experience of that same flight?
I don't like Well, I like flying, but I don't like the tight spaces. It sounds
like you don't like flying.
The tight spaces of and especially when the person in front of you leans back, you just feel very confined.
I hate people.
But then you lean back.
But then I lean back, but then it just feels
a chain reaction.
I'm very self-conscious, so I don't want the person behind me to hit me. But
look at that spike right there. That's from Amy's cough.
Sorry.
People wearing headphones got it turned right up. I
coughed into my arm like you said I should.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of weird though.
Anyway.
But yeah, the Airbus was good, great entertainment. Watched Death of Stalin, great movie.
I tried to watch that.
Yeah.
It's a very strange film, but we won't talk about films. Watched
some
Richard Ayoade, Travel Man, very good. I just generally listened to some music, fell asleep. I'd rate the first flight 8 out of 10. Second flight 6. Third flight for an hour 5. But overall, it was a 6 out of 10 journey.
Very generous.
It was a 6 out of 10 journey. The layoffs in between flights, but in the Yinchuan airport was when I first bought a Coke. Other soda beverages are available.
Say Coke how you normally say
Kirk.
Kirk.
For 30p.
That is CERKE.
Yeah.
Kirk.
Yeah. But this is when I first experienced the cheap prices of China, and it was life-changing.
It made your day, didn't it?
Do you want
30p for a Coke?
As a man from Yorkshire, made your day.
Do you want to go first, Beth, or shall I?
I'd love to go first.
Go on.
So, yeah, Dubai. Again, it was all right. My food was really good because I had the vegan Indian meal, which was like a curry.
Forgot about the meals.
And that was really good. And also next to us was a baby that looked like DJ Khaled's son, Assad, and it was the cutest child. I felt
his
strange.
His eyes were huge.
His eyes, he looked like a Pixar character. I couldn't stop staring at him, and I felt strange for it. But I was like, do you know what? You have a cute kid. You've got to expect this. So
did it cry?
It didn't cry the entire time. He was just literally on his dad's lap. His dad was cuddling him, kissing him. The baby was giggling for the whole 7 hours.
Yeah.
I think he fell asleep at one point, but apart from that, I was like, wow, I want kids.
My loins would have been all over the place.
So, and then, in the last 10 minutes, someone was sick in the far aisle, but quite close to us, and it was pretty disgusting, so I think it gets 2 taken off it for that. So yeah, 8 out of 10. The Dubai airport was insane. I've never seen such a big, modern, completely empty almost airport, and everything was so smooth. And with security, I fucking hate Manchester Airport for this, but the security at Manchester Airport is like, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I've done it a couple of times, and it's just, you're crammed in like a basement almost, and there's no light, and everyone's hot, and everything gets flagged all the time, and everyone's miserable. Ed had a PS2, a PS...
I wish I had a PS2.
What? PS4?
PS4.
Sorry, I don't know these things. He had like a bunch of technology, so he had to like basically unpack his entire suitcase. And that was just a right faff. And then when we got to Dubai, you like sort of were preparing yourself to do this entire thing again. I was like, oh god, right, laptop, here we go, headphones, and the guy just looked at me like I was a fool and was just like, yeah, just go, like, what? Terrorists, what's that? Like, just go through. And so we just literally walked through. I don't think there was even a metal detector. It was like, I was like, wow, this is how it not how it should be, but
I guess you was a change over flight, but still.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll talk about it in a minute.
So that was really, really good. There was like a waterfall inside it, I'm pretty sure. There was also a tube station, just within the airport, which was awesome. We just got on it, got off at our next gate, and yeah, it was sick. And then we went to Yinchuan, and we got off there, and like the flight in between was not too bad, but when we got to that airport, it was just dead. We were the only white people.
No, we weren't. No, because on the flight to Yinchuan, and
actually
into
at the
Zhengzhou.
airport.
At the airport? No, but there was a guy sat next to us for the whole flight to Yinchuan and to
Didn't even notice
Zhengzhou.
him.
There was a white guy.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm on about when we got out.
At the airport waiting.
Yeah.
at Yinchuan.
Yeah.
He was sat near us, I'm sure.
Was he?
Mm.
I don't remember that.
But anyway, yeah, go on.
He must have not been very noticeable.
Probably so.
But yeah, not that matters, but it just makes you feel more alienated, and you're like, shit, I've just flown for 20 hours, and we were so sleep deprived.
Yeah, I didn't know where I was.
You do get the feeling of, what have I got myself
Yeah,
into?
I literally was in the airport, and I was like, I wouldn't say close to tears, but I was like, oh my god, like this is insane.
The security there was definitely different to Dubai.
Yeah.
Like you had to go through everything again, all crammed through, and then
They took your fingerprints.
and scrutinised over
recognition.
your passport. And
In
yeah.
China, you're definitely guilty until proven innocent, I think. And then, so that was awful. And then once we got here, it was like, right, okay, we're fine. We'll make it from here on in. But I think the whole experience was like a 6. Not even Dubai's awesome airport could make up for like just the longevity of it. And yeah. What do you want to say about it?
Yeah, no, just to touch on some points. So like it started off great. Me and Beth, we went up to check in, we got upgraded, and we were like,
yeah,
fuck yes, we've got upgraded.
The guy was acting like he was doing us the biggest favour.
Yeah, and I cheekily asked, are we upstairs? And he was like, no, that's reserved for business and first. I was like, well, you could upgrade us to business, but he wouldn't allow it. He probably would have got fired. Anyway, we got upgraded, and I was like, oh, I can't wait. Then it was the whole security thing, as Beth said, had to unpack my hand luggage, pretty much everything. That was annoying as hell, so that was a -5. And then finally got through customs, whatever, and security. Got through and wait in Manchester Airport, decent airport, when you get through all the hassle of security. Onto the plane, I was looking at it from the windows. I'm a big fan of big things. I love planes. And I was looking at it. I've always loved shit like that. I love trains and planes.
But just a big fan of big things. Was...
Big fan of big things, like buildings and trains and planes.
You're not making it better.
But this plane, double decker, is sick when you look at it. You're like, I'm gonna fly on that. It's amazing. It was simply amazing. Such an aircraft. It's fantastic. And then when we got to our upgraded seats, we were like, this is disappointing. We had leg room, but we were right next to the toilet. And there was literally, from start to finish, pretty much a queue of people waiting to get into the toilet. On the flight, I watched A Quiet Place. Great film. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. And then another Emily Blunt film, Edge of Tomorrow, which I had already seen and enjoyed it a second time. And then I was just like listening to music for pretty much the rest of the flight. Get to Dubai. Dubai was like the big, like as Beth said, the best dead airport I've ever been to. Huge and dead. It was fantastic.
Everything you want in an airport.
Exactly.
Dead.
And then the second flight, yeah, as you've already said, luckily for us, I mean, I didn't hear anyone hocking on our flight. I heard no hockers, no one spitting or snotting into a sick bag. On that flight, I started to watch Enchanted. I think I turned it off. Not that it's a bad film. I love Enchanted, but I was trying to fall asleep and I couldn't. And yeah, and it was just, it was more cramped. The leg room was very insufficient. And then the Incheon, just the whole thing of that was so annoying. Had to unpack my suitcase again. And then finally arrived in Zhengzhou. I'd say overall it was a 7 out of 10.
2 sevens,
2 sevens,
2 sixes.
2 sevens, 2 sixes. It was definitely the longest flight, and I can't wait to do it again to go home. But
That's the only thing.
Yeah,
I won't do it again.
I'll only do it again if
that.
I can guarantee the Airbus. Because imagine going through all those horrible flights and then you get the Airbus.
There's no chance you won't get the Airbus. Like
you have
from
to
here.
from Dubai.
No, I know, but if we go like a different route or not with Emirates or something.
I think it would be daft if we didn't go with Emirates, to be honest.
Yeah.
Would we be daft?
You would. Anyway, so that's, and then we arrive in Zhengzhou, and then you two are already at the flat.
We set up the Wi-Fi, SIM cards.
That was great. I was so happy when you
You're
said
welcome.
We didn't leave the house for
4 days.
fuck knows how long.
2
because
days.
we had to wait for the Wi-Fi man. We had to wait for the electronic
Man.
Electronic?
because
Electricity.
the electrician, the profession.
He is Mr.
But he is
Electricity.
Mr.
I am
Electronic.
electro.
Because in our first day here, there was no power, no Wi-Fi.
Eddie took us for our first meal.
Eddie is our employer.
Yes.
Our main
Eddie
employer.
will have a big role in...
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot about him.
Yeah.
Future podcasts. Yeah.
Great bloke.
Yeah, no, he means well, but he's just not the best.
This is China.
Boss.
But yes, we had our first taste of Chinese food with
authentic
Eddie.
Chinese food.
Yeah, not special fried rice. Nothing of the sort. It
No
was
prawn crackers.
no prawn crackers.
No
it
prawn
was
toast. Chicken feet.
Tomato and egg soup.
Tomato egg soup.
Which
it
is
was
one of their specialities.
pig shoulder.
Pig shoulder, which was with various vegetables. There was the fish.
The fish, the boniest fish of all time.
Yeah, all fish in China comes with its head.
And
pretty much
And
guaranteed.
it's everything, really.
yeah.
Tail.
Unless it's
Testicle.
usually
You have to
tail
pick
as
it
well.
off with your chopsticks, and when you've seen a fish fresh out of it, they literally pick it out of the tank,
Yeah, you
fry
get
it
to
for
see them.
a few seconds, they put it on your plate, and it has all of its bones in it. And if you're picking it with chopsticks, it's just a nightmare. it's honestly a nightmare.
But yeah.
So that wasn't the best meal, but
We've had plenty of good meals since then. Like, I don't really know what I expect. I think coming here food-wise, I thought it'd be like our Chinese back home, but better. But what it really is,
I was expecting that.
the Chinese, if you're in the UK and you have a traditional Chinese, it's from the south. It's from Hong Kong.
Absolutely.
Which is Cantonese, whereas mainland China is Mandarin. So it's kind of an entire different take on food entirely. Everything that we've eaten here, unless it is something like fried rice, or which is not that common, we're just kind of experiencing a whole new kind of food. Like there's nothing, unless it's Western, that we can point to and be like, oh, I've had that before, or I've
it's usually more lavish gourmet dishes that they serve here are things that resemble what we've had in England, whereas their bog standard, like lunch, because obviously we eat lunch at the kindergartens every day, and it's usually some seaweed and cabbage soup with either rice or noodles.
Yeah, they alternate it to keep it fresh.
Monday,
obsessed-
Monday, Wednesday, Friday is rice. Tuesday and Thursday is noodles.
We alternate. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on-off days of rice and...
That's what he said. But sometimes we also have...
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, rice.
But sometimes they
Sorry,
put
I thought
in
you went Monday, Tuesday,
Hongdom.
Wednesday rice and then...
Hongdom or maybe some bouncer occasionally. But
Bouncers are good.
But
I'm
yeah,
a
I
bit
think we
sick
should.
of them.
We should maybe leave this for.
We'll
another
do more
time.
food
We'll do,
talk
we'll
next
do more
time.
food
Yes.
reviews another
so we've
time.
landed. We've landed in Zhengzhou.
Yeah, we've
This
landed.
is where we are.
has
The
started.
journey has just begun.
I think next time we won't go chronological. We'll just kind of do
Jump
topics.
around. We'll just jump
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, we can do topics.
Yeah.
House of Pain.
So yeah, that's it. We've done our first podcast pretty much.
We are 53 minutes in.
Yeah, we
If
are.
you've lasted this long,
Thank
get a
you.
line.
Thank you. Cheers.
Or you're related to us.
Yeah. So, hi, Dad.
Cheers, Dad.
Hi,
Graham, please subscribe.
Graham.
Graham, yeah. He won't
Ian.
know what that means. So yeah, thanks for listening, I guess. What I think we should get our audience to do a bit of interaction. So I think for you guys listening, comment down below in this video what topics you'd like us to discuss. So talk about anything from we'll do anything from China to
Obviously, we just want
Film.
to put it out there that there are 2 film students and
At
the
the
other
table.
2 film enthusiasts. So film
Well,
will be...
enthusiast and semi-enthusiast.
Yes, okay, well, let's say 3, very enthusiastic people about film, and 1 person that has...
who has an on-off switch when it comes to it, basically.
Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that will be in a few topics.
So we're going to discuss
Yeah.
obviously more than just China. although our podcast is called Zhengzhou Unchained, so when we start talking about films,
I'd say that we're also, we're filmy, we're quite political as well. Definitely with the state the UK is in right now, we've all got a lot of opinions on, Teslas.
Kind of, we're all basically on the same side, aren't we? That Brexit is just...
Okay.
Come on.
Please finish this. Let's hold it there. Okay, outro is going on too long. Okay, so thank you for listening. Comment down below what you'd like us to talk about. Please subscribe if you're new around here. Follow us on our socials. We'll leave them all in the description below. Check us out next time, and see ya.
Bye.